channel. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing how I plan and organize my life. Full disclaimer, I am a very thorough type A person. This method that I've created for myself has helped me so much in being able to have a work-life balance, staying on top of my goals while also having time for self-care, rest, hanging out with friends, and just enjoying and living my life. So if you are interested in doing the same, or you want to get some motivation, inspiration, and tips to plan and organize your own life, then keep on watching. And if you enjoy this video, I would so appreciate if you could like, comment, share this video with someone who you think may need to get their life together as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. I like to keep a few things in mind as I sit down every week or every month to plan and organize my life. The first thing that I like to keep in mind is balance. One of my main goals for 2022 is to have more of a work-life balance and to not work more than I live. If I have a really busy work week, then I will be sure to schedule in some downtime on the weekend, have a date night, hang out with friends, or have a chill self-care day to myself to kind of reset and regroup from the week before. Bottom line is to make sure that I'm making time for all of the things that make me feel good, make me feel my best, and also do not leave me feeling burnt out or overworked. So the second thing that I like to keep in mind as I'm structuring my life is to take into consideration the cycle or season that my body is in. If you want to learn how to cycle sync yourself, I will leave some resources down below. But essentially the idea is that our bodies go through different seasons and cycles where we have different energy levels and our body requires different things from us. And the third thing that I like to take into consideration is to be flexible and open. So I used to try to structure literally every minute of my life, and I just found that to be too restricting and honestly just very overwhelming and uninspiring. What I've realized works best for me is I like to have an overall idea of what I want to do or accomplish that month or that week, and then I like to leave room for myself to decide when and where and how I want to do those things. As of lately, I use 3 different systems. 2 are digital and 1 is a physical planner that I use. This is absolutely unnecessary and super extra of me. I just like to have my calendar and my schedule and my to-do list on various different platforms so that it is ingrained in my mind and I do not forget to do these things. So the first way that I like to plan and organize my life is through Google Calendar. I really like Google Calendar because it syncs easily with your phone. Of course, it's easy to use, it's super customizable. I use Google Calendar to basically schedule my entire life. The second app that I use is called Notion. I really love Notion because I can use it for so many different things. I use it to, of course, plan and organize my life, but I also use it to plan and organize my content along with my goals, and I also have like a little journaling section that I do on there. And the third thing that I use is the Weekly Reset Planner by Lavendaire. I have it right here. This is what it looks like. I really love this planner. This is basically a physical copy or physical version of what I do on Notion. So this is completely unnecessary, but I just personally like to write on pen and paper my to-do list and my schedule and what I have to do. So basically what I have on Notion is in here. Those are the 3 ways that I plan and organize my life. So it's basically monthly goals, weekly to-dos, daily tasks, and at the end you reflect and you reassess and then you begin again. So now that you have the breakdown of how I plan and organize my life, let's get into the nitty-gritty of everything. So before I even get into setting my monthly goals and intentions, I take 2 things into consideration. Does it align with my priorities and my values? And 2, taking into consideration my yearly goals that I set for myself. So if you need help with identifying your priorities or your values or even setting your yearly goals, I created a video here on how you can do just that. I'll link it up here somewhere and it'll also be in the show notes. But essentially I take into consideration those 2 factors, and I like to start off by doing a big brain dump on everything that's on my mind that I want to do, that I want to accomplish, focus on, work more towards, do better in, how I want to feel that month or that week. I just like to put everything that's on my mind onto paper and just let it all come out so that it's not all jumbled up in my mind. And after I do my big brain dump, I then like to categorize all of the things that I wrote down into 2 different categories. The first is my life/personal goals, and the second is my career/business goals. So after I clean up my brain dump, I have a pretty good idea of what my goals and intentions are for that month. So when it comes to creating my weekly goals or to-do list and schedule, again, I take a look at my monthly goals and intentions and everything that I wrote down, and I break those goals and intentions into tangible steps that I could do each week. So every Sunday, I take a look at that list that I created and I think to myself, what do I want to work on this week out of everything that I wrote on this list, and what can I actually do to get closer to reaching this goal? So for example, for the month of April, one of my monthly goals that I made for myself was to practice my daily healthy habits every single day. That is my monthly goal. So weekly, I can break that down into 1 week focusing on getting movement in every single day. Then the next week, it could be working on spending less time on social media. So the way that I like to look at this is basically taking my bigger, broader goals and breaking them down into smaller, tangible steps. So when it comes to writing out my monthly and my weekly goals, I like to do this all on Notion. And as you can see here, I have created a template for myself where for every month I have a specific template that I use, and every week I also have a template that I use, which are very similar, as you can see here. And basically I like to write out my little letter to the universe of how I would like my month to go, and I set my intentions and my goals. I then like to create some affirmations for myself for that month or that week that kind of resonate with my goals and what I want to do and accomplish and feel. Okay, so that is how I create my monthly and weekly goals. Very similar process. I basically just do the same thing but break it down into smaller steps, as I said. Now I want to show you guys how I actually schedule my calendar and my to-do list to help me ensure that I'm being productive, making time for self-care, rest, fun, hanging out with friends, and still getting things done. So as I mentioned, when it comes to planning and organizing my life, I like to have an overall idea of the things that I want to do and accomplish for that week or that month, but I still like to leave room for flexibility. So the way that I leave room and flexibility in my calendar is by scheduling my non-negotiable tasks into my calendar every Sunday. So this includes just my morning routine and my evening routine, my workout. Those things usually stay the same, and I like to schedule those things in, and then I leave the rest of my schedule open until the night before or the day of. So I take a look at my weekly goal list on Notion and I pick a few things that I feel called to do that day, and I then add it into my calendar, and I give myself a rough time frame of when I would like to work on certain things and for how long. With Google Calendar, I also created different sub calendars, as you can see right here. So basically every sub calendar represents a different area of my life. The first calendar that I have is for business/admin things. The next sub calendar that I have is fun, flowy, and self-care. So this is basically any social events, gatherings, date nights, self-care days, moments, things that are not work related at all. And then I have my content creation sub calendar, and this is basically all the content creation that I do, from recording YouTube videos, editing podcast episodes, creating content for Instagram. The next is my wellness, rituals, habits, and routines, and the last and final subcategory is my daily tasks and adulting section. And of course, this is like any errands that I have to run, grocery shopping, house chores, things like that. So I know that may seem a little excessive, but I'm at this stage in my life where if it's not scheduled in my calendar, it's not happening, okay? We're not hanging out, the task is not getting done, the project will be incomplete, it's just not happening. It has to be scheduled in my calendar for me to show up for it, to do it, to complete it, whatever it is. And if it's not, I'm sorry, it doesn't exist in my world. With that being said, another thing that I've been making sure to schedule in my calendar are self-care moments or days for myself, and also my breaks. If I don't schedule in breaks in my calendar, I will work all day and completely burn out. And as I mentioned, everything that gets put into my Google Calendar is copy and pasted into my Notion's weekly agenda. It's essentially the same thing. I just personally like to have a weekly agenda so I can check things off at the end of the day, or as I'm completing tasks, I like to just check things off. It makes me feel more accomplished and productive. Of course, this is a completely extra step. You don't need to do this. I personally just like to do this. Here is a look at my Notion weekly agenda. Over here at the top, I have my monthly goals as well as my weekly intentions and goals. I like to have them here just so I can reference them really quickly and I have easy access to them. Over here is clearly my weekly agenda. Pretty simple, straightforward. I like it. It helps me stay productive. Okay, so when it comes to reflecting and reassessing, as I said, at the end of every week or every month, I like to take a look at how I did. What did I accomplish? What did I do? How did I grow? Where could I improve? What didn't I accomplish? This is just a great way for me to hold myself accountable, but also make sure that I'm staying on track and I'm making actual progress towards where I want to go and what I want to do. This has been a huge help in helping me to achieve my goals. So if you are someone who struggles with staying consistent or on track, I highly recommend making it a habit to reflect and reassess as often as possible. That leads me to actually sharing a little bit more about the weekly reset agenda from Lavendaire. So this is not sponsored, by the way. I bought this with my own money and I really enjoy it. What I like about this agenda specifically is at the end of every week, it has a little weekly reflection section and it asks you how you felt that week, what you're grateful for, what your weekly wins were. It also has a section where they ask you a different question every week, which I really love. And then it gives you an opportunity to rate how you're doing in the different areas of your life. And also it has a little space for planning ideas and thoughts. So I like to use that section for brain dumping for the following week. So this is a really helpful tool to help you reset and reflect every single week as well. All right, my loves, well, there you have it. This is my method and how I like to plan and organize my week, or my life, I should say. I hope that this was somewhat easy to understand and you kind of got the point of my breakdown and my flow of how I like to plan, structure, and organize my life. But anyways, my loves, I hope that you enjoyed this video and I will see you all in the next one.